Yahweh's army were called by his name, spreading the truth, proclaiming his reign. With the helmet of salvation we stand tall, in his righteousness we answer the call. The belt of truth is wrapped around our waist, in Yahuwah's word we found our place. We carry the shield of faith, strong and sure, with the sword of the Ruach we endure. Yahuwah's army, righteous, strong, planting seeds of light, awakening this world with Yahuwah's might. Across the corners of this earth we go, with his word the true Elohim will know. We are Yahuwah's army, strong and free, bringing truth and life for eternity. Our feet are guarded by the word we speak, for in Yahuwah's path we humbly seek. Every step we take his light we bear, sharing his name, oh Yahuwah, who cares? His blood markers are seeds of his love, sent to awaken this world from above. With each one given, our Ruach is rooted, sustained and be nourished. Yahuwah's army, righteous, strong, planting seeds of light, awakening this world with Yahuwah's might. Traveling about the corners of the earth, spreading the good news of the one true Elohim. We are Yahuwah's army, righteous, strong. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah, the one we proclaim. Join his righteous army and receive the promise for your life. Yahuwah's army, righteous, strong. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah, the one we proclaim. Join his righteous army and receive the promise for your life. Yahuwah's army, righteous, strong. Yahuwah's army, righteous, strong, planting seeds of light, awakening this world with Yahuwah's light. Across the corners of this earth we go, with his word the true Elohim will know. Oh, Yahuwah's army, righteous, strong, bringing truth and life for eternity, 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 bringing truth and life for eternity. The one we proclaim.
Shabbat Shalom, 𝐤𝐄𝐄. This is Mosheh, my dad, Yahoo. Want to welcome you to another broadcast of My Living Branch, the home of Yahuwah.army. What? Righteous, strong. We appreciate you joining in this morning for our Shabbat lesson study. We are excited to be able to bring the word of Elohim. I tell you, it's going to be a very interesting lesson, and I pray that you pay close attention, because you know some things we kind of miss when we're talking about, you know, when we go to the Brit Hadashah and how it's laid out. And you'll find, you know, it can be a stumbling block for some, but when you look at the full force of what Mashiach did and how he adhered to the Father's word and to his law. As a matter of fact, he was the word made manifest and dwelt among us. So we're going to have a good study this morning. This will probably be the last part of the leprosy part, and then we're going to go back and we're going to pick up some other stuff that is very crucial to our walk, and so that you can continue your journey, because we never know what's around the corner. It's just getting more interesting by the day. Because I had a thought and of why everything is going in the direction that it's going now, and how artificial intelligence is going to be a part of everything that goes on going forward. It's going to be integrated in the government more than you ever can imagine. It's going to be integrated in your day-to-day life. It's going to be constant monitoring, and you won't even know it. And guess what? You won't even have to have an AI device, because when you go out to grocery shop, get gas, to do anything, you step out your house, you have internet, any of that stuff, you can just about rest assured AI is going to be a part of it. But that's, not what we should focus on. We should focus on making sure we are walking this walk out like we're supposed to. All righty, let's pray, and then we're going to get into our lesson. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah 𝐤𝐄𝐄𝐄. Father, I say Todah Rabbah for all of our misbakah, for the misbakah that has been with us for a while, for the misbakah that's new. I pray, Father, that you sustain us with your word. You sent your word and healed us. You told us that man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out the mouth of Yahuwah Elohim. Now, Father, strengthen us in that word. Cause the word of Elohim to grow in us as we continue to ingest it. We continue to let it become a part of every fiber of our being. Let us be absorbed in your word. Your word is true. Hallelujah. Now let this lesson, Father, serve as a platform to help those that may struggle, to help those with decisions. Let them be able to glean from any wisdom that you impart to us today. We give you praise, honor, and esteem in the name of Mashiach Yahusha. Hallel to Yahuwah. Amen. All right, so today our lesson study is going to be teach them to be set apart. It's going to be part 32, leprosy, the renewed covenant, or the New Testament, or the Brit Hadashah. So we want to dive into this. So let's, just before we get there, talk about the bookmarkers, Yahuwah Army. Now, if you like the intro song, the intro video, make sure you go to YouTube, like it, comment on it, share it with others. It's a very good introduction tool for others. And hopefully, they'll check out our site, www.yahuwah.army. Now, if you want to order bookmarkers, you can. And we're always sending out bookmarkers. We're ready. Just go to yahuwah.army, look up at the top of the page, the website, and you'll see a tab that says bookmarker. Now, when you're ordering the bookmarkers, make sure you're specific. If you want Spanish bookmarkers, put Spanish beside the quantity. If you want English bookmarks, just put English beside it. And the instructions are right there. Make sure you give me your complete mailing address. And these are what the bookmarkers look like. Here's the English over here, and here's the Espanol. And if you could show some kindness to our channel, like, comment, share, subscribe. We are on Rumble. We are on YouTube. We are on Brighton. And we are also on Spotify on our podcast for those that might need a platform where they can just listen. So make sure you do that so the algorithm will push the videos out to other people. Now, let's get started. This is the foundation of these lessons that we've been doing for quite a while. Teach them. Leviticus chapter 10, verse 8. And Yahuwah spoke to Aharon, saying, do not drink wine or strong drink, you nor your sons with you, when you go into the tent of appointment, lest you die, a law forever throughout your generation, so as to make a distinction between the set apart and the profane, and between the unclean and the clean, and to teach the children of Israel all the laws which Yahuwah has spoken to them by the hand of Mosheh. So they had an instruction to teach the children of Israel, the 12 tribes, the laws which Yahuwah had spoken by the hand of Mosheh. This was the priest's responsibility. Now, we're dealing in the area of leprosy, so we want you to know the areas affected. It can be a person, it could be a garment, fabric, or it could be a house. Now, we want to kind of set this up since we're going into the Brit Hadashah. We want to make sure that you understand what the Mashiach's mission was. And what did he come to do? Okay. And you'll find even amongst different religious sects that believe that there's a Messiah, they have different focuses on what the Mashiach's purpose was. Some even elevate him above the Father, which we know, if we did a study on that he tells you that the Father is greater than him. So we got to put everything in perspective. So I wanted to give you a snapshot of his mission. In Luke 4, verse 18, and this comes from, if you go back, he's quoting here from Isaiah or Yeshayahu chapter 61, verse 1 through 3. He stands up and he says, he's at the synagogue, the Spirit of Yahuwah is upon me, because he has anointed me to bring the good news to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to send away crushed-hearted ones with a release, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah. And having rolled up the scroll, he gave it back to the attendant and sat down. And the eyes of all in the congregation were fixed upon him. Okay, this was his mission. He tells you what his mission is. Now, as we go on, he sent out the 12. Now, I want you to notice what he does when he sends out the 12. And I want you to take note who he sends the 12 to. Okay, and this is in Matthew chapter 10, verse 5. And this is all going to give us a better understanding when we start to see lepers being addressed in the Brit Hadashah. Okay, and Yahusha sent these 12 out, having commanded them, saying, do not go into the way of the nations, and do not enter a city of the Samaritans, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So who is he going to? The lost sheep. Who were the lost sheep? Okay, because you got to remember, there were 10 tribes that were a part of what we would consider the lost sheep. That's who he came to restore, because they were divorced. Because remember, after Shlomo or Solomon's reign, because of what he did, he took and divided Israel into 2 houses. So in Jeremiah, you'll see where he divorced the house of Israel. Now he's coming back to bring restoration. Okay, read verse 7. And as you go, proclaim, saying, the reign of the heavens has drawn near. Heal the sick. Now, this is instruction to his 12 Talmudim or disciples. He tells them to heal the sick. He tells them to do what? Cleanse the lepers. Okay, that's what we're focusing in on. Cleanse the lepers. Raise the dead, cast out demons, and you have received without paying. Give without being paid. Do not acquire gold or silver or copper for your money belt, or a bag for your journey, or 2 undergarments, or sandals, or staffs. For the worker is worthy of his food. And into whatever city or village you enter, ask who is worthy in it, and stay there until you leave. So now, where was he going? Where was he sending them? To the lost sheep, and they were supposed to cleanse the lepers as a part of that going out. So now, if he gave them instruction, now we have to go back and see what he did, if that was a part of his ministry and what he was doing. So let's look at Matthew chapter 8, verse 1. Okay, we're going to have to set this up, because I definitely want you, when you start reading the Brit Hadashah or the New Testament or the Renewed Covenant, I want you to start looking at it from a different perspective. Okay. And that perspective is coming from Torah first. Because remember, he didn't come to destroy the law, but he came to fulfill it. He was the embodiment of what the Torah was. The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld him as the only begotten of the Father, full of favor or grace and truth. So we've got to start looking, because you run into so many people. There's so many subjects you can get onto, and you start talking to people, and the first thing they want to do is grab a hold of a quote that's in the Brit Hadashah or the New Testament, and not go back and find the foundational stuff in Torah that gives you direction and gives you instruction and give you guidance on why things occurred like they did in the Brit Hadashah. And especially in when we talk about the Gospels or what's the good news. Okay, the good news that's brought to us for a witness. Okay, so let's look at Matthew 8:1. And when he came down from the mountain, large crowds followed him. And see, a leopard came and bowed before him, saying, Master, if you desire, you are able to make me clean. And stretching out his hand, Yahusha touched him, saying, I desire it. Be cleansed. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Yahusha said to him, See, mention it to no one, but go your way, show yourself to the priest, and offer the gift that Mosheh commanded as a witness to them. Okay? So where does he point this leopard back to? He points him back to the instructions in Torah. Why would he do that? Because he was the word. He had to give them and instruct them for what was written. Now, I want you to note here, he said, when the leopard said, if you desire, you're able to make me clean. Okay, that's why I put his mission first. See, sometimes we're under the impression that he want us sick, he want us suffering, no. His will is for you to be in health and to prosper. But sometimes when we have different things inside of us, we have to go through a process to get those things cleansed and to get those things out of us. Because if we don't get those things out of us, it's going to affect any new thing that comes into your life. The old habits will affect anything new that comes in. So you got to make sure that those things are corrected. Now let's look at it a little closer, because you might not have even considered this point. Now, we were at Matthew 8:1 when he came down from the mountain. But let's go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 1. But when he saw the crowd, he went up on the mountain. And when he was seated, his taught ones came to him. Okay. We picked up here when he came down the mountain. But let's look at what happened up on the mountain. What happened between Matthew 5, verse 1 and Matthew 8, verse 1? A lot of stuff happened. And I want you to notice, because he's the word, the particular verse that stood out to me was in Psalms 119, verse 9. Bet, how would a young man cleanse his path? To guard it according to your word. That's how you cleanse your path or cleanse your ways. Now, let me just give you, I'm not going to go through every last verse in 5, 6, and 7 of Matthew, but I'm just going to give you a snapshot. And I encourage you to go back and read these so that you can see when he came down, what principles he had taught to his taught ones, and what principles he was showing forth. Okay, so when he was up on the mountain, he taught, some call it the Sermon on the Mount, but you had the Beatitudes. He talked about salt and light. He talked about the Messiah came to fulfill the law. He talked about anger, lust, divorce, oaths, retaliation, love your enemy, give to the needy. Even the Father's prayer, he taught on prayer up there, fasting, where to lay up your treasures. I mean, he taught so much. Don't be anxious, judging others. Ask and it shall be given. The golden rule, a tree and its fruit. Then he instructed some. I call these the never knew you crowd, because he said, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, because I never knew you. Even though they were doing all of these miraculous things, haven't we cast out demons in your name, healed the sick, we've done all these things in your name, but yet and still he tells them, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, I know you not. Then he talked about build your house on the rock. Then finally he talked about the authority of Yahusha. So when you go through all of those teachings, and now we're coming down the mountain, we see that the leper, now he wasn't up there for the teachings, but we get to see the embodiment of the teachings in the Mashiach and how he execute things. Because when the leper told him, or when he asked him, he said, leper came to bow, saying, Master, if you desire, you are able to make me clean. And stretching out his hand, Yahusha touched him. Okay, see, the word, he sent his word and healed us. And with the healing comes instruction. See, a lot of people go wrong because they get a result from what they ask, but they don't follow the instruction that comes after the result. And Yahusha said, I desire it, be cleansed. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. Then that's when Yahusha told him, you're rejoicing in the cleansing is not obedience. Your obedience is when you follow the instructions that are given to you. Your instructions might have been go and sin no more. Your instructions, his instructions was go your way, show yourself to the priest, and offer a gift to Mosheh that Mosheh commanded as a witness to them. Now let's look at one of the things, because the leper came asking a question. Let's look at Matthew 7, verse 7. This was the discourse he gave up on the mountain. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. Okay, did the leper ask? Did the leopard receive? Yes, he did. We have to affirmly say, yes, the leopard received. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds. To him who knocks, it shall be open. Or is there a man among you who, if his son asketh for bread, shall give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, shall give him a snake? If you then, being wicked, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father who is in the heavens give what is good to those who ask him? Bam, that's all I can tell you. So with the freedom and what you get, there is a responsibility. And let's look at it, because I want you to see this as plain as day. Okay? Don't get sidetracked. See, a lot of us get sidetracked in the healing, the deliverance, or whatever the Father has done for us. We get sidetracked. But he said, go your way, show yourself to the priest, and offer the gift that Mosheh commanded as a witness to them. Now let's look at the law. Let's go and see what the Torah says. Leviticus 14, verse 1. And Yahuwah spoke to Mosheh, saying, this shall be the Torah of the leper for the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall go out of the camp, and the priest shall look and see if the leprosy is healed, in the leopard. Then the priest shall command, and he shall take for him who is to be cleansed 2 live and clean birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. So you're asking the priest, well, how'd you get healed? What happened? Don't you think you're going to tell the priest? It's going to be a witness to that priest that the real high priest is on the scene. So does he desire? Now, keep in mind, don't stumble, because a lot of us get what we ask for, but we keep failing at the point of obedience. And that creates a circle. What kept the children of Israel going around? Disobedience. They were, look how many times, 10 times in the wilderness. It says, you've got to break the cycle. Because remember, we've talked in other lessons, the connection between leprosy and obedience. You've got to break the cycle of disobedience. When he brings you out, don't go back in. Your life depends on it. Be obedient. All the same things as you said you was going to do, let's get it done. Let's pave some new ground and stop and not go back through those same old cycles all the time. Let's get some new challenges. Let's get to a new level. Okay, now, just as sure of I showed the obedience. Now it doesn't document whether he went back and did that, but we know that was told to him. So we're just going to leave it at that. Now, let's document the flip side. Disobedience. Now, you might not see it as, but let's look at it. Let's look at Mark chapter 1, verse 40. A leper came to him, calling upon him, kneeling down to him, and saying to him, if you desire, you are able to make me clean. And Yahusha, moved with compassion, stretched out his hand and touched him and said to him, I desire, be cleansed. And immediately the leprosy left him, and he was cleansed. And having strictly warned him, he immediately sent him away and said to him, see, say none at all to anyone, but go show yourself to the priest and offer for your cleansing what Mosheh ordered as a witness to them. Okay, now what do we see? He got so engrossed in his cleansing that he disobeyed the spoken word, the word that was spoken right there to him, and the written word. See, what Mashiach is after and what the Father is after is obedience. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Now, what did he do in verse 45? But he went out and began to publish it so much and to spread the word that Yahusha was no longer able to openly enter the city, but was outside in lonely places. Yet they came to him from all directions. Your focus, when you receive such a turnaround, your focus should be obedience. What's my next step, Father? And if you're not clear on your next step, seek wise counsel. If you're not sure, pray. But to go and publish it abroad, I know it makes you want to tell everybody. But I'm trying to refocus you. Your focus should be, what is my next step of obedience? Because we're trying to make sure you don't end up back where you were. Now let's look at one last thing. I call this true cleansing. But I want you to take notice. You got to pull out some things here when we're reading this from Luke 17, verse 11. It came to be, as he went to Jerusalem, that he passed through the midst of Shimron and Galil. And as he was entering into a certain village, he was met by 10 leprous men who stood at a distance, Okay, now I want you to notice the region that he's in. 𤤄𤅅 or Samaria. Galilee, that area. Okay, that's in the upper part of Israel. And they lifted up their voices, saying, Yahusha, Master, have compassion on us. But notice they stood at a distance. Okay, verse 14. And having seen them, he said to them, and notice he didn't touch them. Okay, it was 10 of them. He didn't touch them, but he gave them instruction. Go, show yourself to the priest. And it came to be that as they were going, they were cleansed. Okay, some things happen during the course of your obedience. Okay, you're following an instruction, you're going and doing what he said. And while you're doing that, what was spoken or what you're asking for happens. Okay, you can't sit back and do nothing. Some people think faith requires nothing. But clearly James said faith without works is dead. I don't care how you twist it, turn it. There's some type of action going to be involved with faith. It's a substance. There's got to be some evidence. Okay, let's read 14 again. And having seen them, he said to them, go, show yourself to the priest. Okay, here I am. I got leprosy all over me. And I'm supposed to walk and show myself to the priest. So my action by walking the thing out that he told me to do, in the process, something happens to me. And it came to be that as they were going, they were cleansed. Okay, look at verse 15. And one of them, okay, notice it was only one. When he saw that he was healed, returned praising Elohim with a loud voice. 16. And he fell down upon his face at his feet, giving thanks to him. And he was a Samaritan, or 𝐤𝐄𝅅𤄄. Okay. Now, if you get a chance, go back and research Samaritan and where they originated. You'll find, because remember, one of the things we read, he told them not to go to 𝐤𝐄𝅅𝅄 or to Samaria when he gave his 12 instructions. Okay, they were mixed. That was a mixed region. They were transplanted there, and you can find that in the scriptures. That would be a good idea for you to go back and look at that. Now, there is nothing that you'll find written where he couldn't come back after he was healed and give praise. But what I thought was very interesting was what Mashiach said to him. Look at verse 17. And Yahusha answering said, were there not 10 cleansed? But where are the 9? Was no one found to return to give praise to Elohim except this foreigner? Okay, let you know he wasn't. Was he one of the 12? Was he one of the 12 tribes? No, he was a foreigner. Okay. Only the foreigner came and gave him. Look, sometimes we forget. The ones that call ourselves Hebrew and, we're Israelites and we're Israel, we're his chosen. We have forgotten when he does something and walks us through stuff, and we have forgotten how to give him thanks and praise. We don't return anymore. You can still follow the instructions and go show yourself to the priest. But why? When you saw he did such a great thing for you, when he saw that you had something, you're going through something, you shouldn't have made it, you shouldn't have came out, the odds were against you, why didn't you return and give him praise? And I ain't talking about that old praise, thank you. Look at what this gentleman does. Look at what he does. He's a foreigner. When he returned, praising Elohim with a loud voice, fell down upon his face at his feet, giving thanks to him. But we've gotten so high and mighty, we can't even tell him thank you no more. We can't even bow ourselves before him. I'm telling you. This is where true cleansing comes. When there's a connection in you with what he did for you, and the worship and praise all comes together. The realization, not taking for granted what he did, because he didn't have to do it, but he did. One songwriter said, he woke me up this morning, started me on my way. He didn't have to do it, but he did. Now notice what he tells him in the 19th verse. You don't see any instruction for the priest. Remember, he was a foreigner. So a foreigner trying to go show him to himself to a priest, that wouldn't go off right. And he said to him, rise, go your way. Your belief has made you whole. So everything was suitable. Everything lined up with Torah. So remember, obedience. Don't forget to give him thanks and praise too. See, people want to go out and publish it to all the other folks. But let me tell you where you publish it. Come right back to him and tell him how good he's been. Tell him how much you love him and how much you appreciate him and how much you thank him, how much you extol him, how much you magnify him. And you'll begin to say like Dawid say, oh, magnify Yahuwah with me and let us exalt his name together. And if people want to join in, fine. But that's where you take it back to. So I hope Told you I wasn't trying to draw this one out long. Key elements you need to remember: obedience, obedience, obedience. See, Thanksgiving, don't take what he does for granted. Have a spirit of gratitude. Be thankful. Don't lose connection with being thankful for what he's done. So if you have a prayer request or a question, I encourage you to email info@myliving.branch.org. Now, I want to, if you're new in the walk and you're trying to navigate, it can be difficult. And for those that were on the Path to Yahuwah, their meeting yesterday, and you would have heard 𝐤𝐄𝐄 talk about just, how people can take advantage. If you're new to the walk, reach out. You don't want to be eating off a whole bunch of tables. Reach out. Get the foundational stuff that you need. Doesn't cost you anything. That's what we're here for. We're here, we freely receive, we freely give. And our aim is to help you to navigate and to build a foundation. So if you're new to the walk and you're trying to figure things out, reach out. Shoot us an email, info@myliving.branch.org. All right, let's pray. Father, I pray that this lesson would resonate with us, cause us to examine our obedience, cause us to give you praise. Father, we thank you now, because without you, this lesson wouldn't have been possible. I pray that it touched the lives of those that need it. I pray that you would continue to stir up the gift in us, stir up charity, and stir up the teachings so that we can continue to give to those the word of Elohim, the engrafted word of Elohim, which is able to save their souls. We give you praise now, Father. And I pray that the little ones that you have out here, that they would connect with the right teachings and connect with the right ministry, that they can grow and have foundation. Connect with those that will care for them as the sheep of your pasture, as your people. Now, Father, I give you praise that we will continue to grow in knowledge and in favor with you. We give you praise, honor, and esteem in the name of Mashiach Yahusha. Hallel to Yahuwah. Amen. All right, Ms. Bakar, if you would like to support us, you can join our family. Just go to livingbranch.app. We'll be more than glad to have you as a part of the Ms. Bakar. And we desire that you would continue to pray for us, that the Father will lead and guide us and give us direction. And if you need prayer, of course, you can send your prayer request to info@myliving.branch.org. And if you would like to donate to the ministry, you can. You can do so by Cash App, PayPal, or you can donate online. If you can't remember all these links, that's fine. You just go to our link tree, which is Living Branch. And you'll find all of our links in YouTube and Brighton and Rumble, all that good stuff you'll find there. So we're appreciative for you for taking out the time today to study and to observe this lesson. It's all made possible because of you. We appreciate you. So we want to say Toda for joining. And if you get a chance, you can check out our new podcast that's also in Linktree. And we're praying that you have a great Shabbat. Enjoy it. You know, it's getting colder now, so maybe you can get around the fireplace or have a fire pit outside and just enjoy the crisp warmth of fire, knowing that he's a fire that burns on the inside of us. All right, Miss Picard, this is 𝐤𝐄𝐄𝐄 saying unto you, Shabbat Shalom, and let's make this the best Shabbat ever. Shabbat Shalom, Miss Picard.
proclaim